Alrighty, guys. I think we're live.
What is Minnesota doing? Why is the tornado warning?
Alright, I am live, guys.
Life for what?
Tropical update.
Crap.
And
But, anyways,
can't
what is up, everybody?
be lied to me. Didn't get forewarned.
Hopefully, we are here. I just want to do some clarification. Alright, what's up, Philly VR? How are you doing? But we're gonna be taking a look at some model guidance here, with Erin. Hold on, I might just get rid of that. Delete.
Oh my god.
What's up, PJ?
Oh my god.
I don't know if you want to be VC.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off. Shoot, might as well get that.
Yeah, I think that's the best choice.
Bob, you should join me.
What
Alright.
are you playing?
What's up, Pete? How are you doing? But
Oh
here
my
we are.
days.
Alright, I'm gonna leave VC, guys, so see ya.
No.
Alright. Alright, good. Alright. Let me just close Discord, because I don't need Discord. That's going to take up a lot of my data for today. But one thing I want to go over here is the impressive data I have on Tropical Storm Erin. This thing looks like borderline hurricane status if you're looking at it at this kind of standpoint here, basically. Very well defined core. It's kind of expanding too. It's gotten larger in the past few scans. But we're going to take a look at Recon data first, and we're going to take a look at model guidance, or you know what? I think I actually might take a look at model guidance first. Erin is going to churn by the end of the weekend. Yep. Recon data first. Alright. Looks like stream isn't too far behind, so that's good. Probably about 20 seconds, so we're going to take a look at some models here. Actually, I do want to take a look at the Western Atlantic. GFS is kind of underdoing things here. It is at a 998, and it says 1001 millibar. So not too bad there, but it shows this thing kind of rapidly intensifying as it nearly passes by the northern Leeward Islands, and then it's gonna churn, and then oh my goodness, didn't mean to go out that far, but sheesh. Wow. One system at a time. Gosh, bro. But anyways, GFS shows this thing curving off to sea. Here is some contributing factors as to why it is curving out to sea. One thing I want to take a look at here, look at vorticity. It'll give us a better standpoint. This is 850, yeah. Actually, I want to go 500. Or 700. 700 might be fine, yeah. You could see we've got a high pressure basically steering this thing If it can even load, that'd be lovely. But as you can see, here's our little low pressure here. Right here. You can see this high pressure steering this thing. You could basically see the barbs here, the vorticity barbs, which is indicating the motion in the atmosphere where where its direction is. And basically that high pressure kind of breaks down, and there's a gap, right? We have a high pressure out here in the U.S., which is blocking any tropical activity to making landfall in the U.S. And then at the same time, we have the high pressure over here. So that's going to clearly make way for a system to track along here. And at the same time, we have a trough right here, which is going to amplify this storm system, Erin, as it gets close to that trough. And then, okay, I did not mean to do that, but as this high pressure, okay, before we start talking about the trough, I want to talk about the high pressure. The high pressure kind of breaks down and moves pretty good towards the west, and that's going to push this system it's going to nudge it a little west, because, you know, storm systems are going to go around that high pressure. And at the same time, we have a cold front down here with our trough up here. And at the same time, this thing is going to slingshot. You see, it gets attached to that jet stream right there, and it's just going to go slingshot itself into the northern Atlantic. So the GFS is showing a realistic scenario. I actually think this GFS run might be the most realistic, although I think it makes that churn towards Bermuda so sharply. I don't think it's going to churn that sharply, but I could see it moving like this and then going out to sea. It's going to go in between Bermuda and North Carolina, I think, in my opinion, just based off of looking at model guidance. But oh my goodness, yeah, not worth looking at that. But main takeaway from the GFS here is that it wants to go north of the Leeward Islands here very late Saturday, which it'll most definitely be a hurricane. No guarantee there, or guarantee per se, because we have a very warm SSTs out here, which does mean sea surface temperatures. There's some dry air out here, but our core, like I said, is so defined that any dry air will probably not impede on its well-defined core, because you could see very cold cloud tops, which could indicate very explosive thunderstorm activity around this low pressure, and that could be a sign of a rapid intensification process. So we're going to keep an eye on Recon, or we haven't taken a look at that, but we'll go into that as soon as we break down each model run and the ensembles and all that kind of shenanigans. But that's Erin. He's going to slingshot itself. But the Bermuda High basically is setting up here. We're going to basically have two highs locked in here, in the Central Plains, and then in the basically the Bermuda High per se. If I can even okay. What's up, Evan? But like I said, GFS showing probably a realistic scenario here, I'd say. It's a very close call to Bermuda, but I think that's kind of realistic in my opinion. But taking a look at the European model, we have the 12Z. Oh my goodness. We're going to go back in time here, actually. And while that renders in, we're going to be... okay, here we go. So, European, kind of, same scenario, but man, European is a little further west. And it takes that churn a little more later in its life, actually. It's not as close to Bermuda. It's kind of in between Bermuda and North Carolina like all the other models depict, but GFS was a little closer to Bermuda. And also, the European also shows a similar scenario to the GFS actually. Only difference I could probably see is that it's a little more west when it makes that churn, when it gets attached to that jet stream there. And as soon as it gets attached to that jet stream, man, it's gonna go slingshot itself. Like, I'm talking slingshot. But European, similar scenario. If we take a look at the precipitation type here. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Icon, we're going to take a look at that for giggles. Bad voice crack. I would highly ignore that, but the Icon model is an outlier and a half. Don't tell me why. I don't know why. Why is the Icon so close to the Bahamas, and why is it so far west? That is really intriguing, but the Icon is really crazy with these kind of setups here with hurricanes and stuff, so I'm going to take the Icon into consideration because it is an outlier, and therefore we are going to exclude the Icon model. GEFS ensembles, if we take a look at all ensemble members, you could see a very good agreement actually. It's going to go north of the Leeward Islands, north of the Dominican. Man, just a little uncertainty out here. I mean, we got a lot of ensembles going very close for comfort near the coastline of Florida. We got other ensembles, which this is probably a good batch that I think will probably be in the play here, or rather will be a likely scenario that will play out here. This batch right here, I think that is going to be the target, in my opinion. I think that in itself, I think that might just actually be the likely scenario that I think. It's going to churn with this Bermuda high, with two highs locked in here. And we got this trough way far to the north, right here. You can kind of see it. We got this high pressure here in the Bermuda high, basically Bermuda high, that's what they call it. Central Plains, we got another high pressure out here. Basically, we got our trough right here. And I think it's going to go in between Bermuda and North Carolina. I think it's probably just going to go in the middle, but I can't really take exact details from this because there's a little bit of uncertainty still. But the main takeaway here is that I think that it's going to go in between the Bermuda and North Carolina. It's going to go like this. It's going to churn off, and then it's going to attach to that jet stream, and it's going to slingshot itself out in the middle of the cold Atlantic waters. Yeah, that's what I think. Hurricane, I want to take a look at the HAFS. Okay, we're going to new HAFS. But we're going to take a look while these hurricane models render in here. I want to answer anybody's questions regarding... What's up, Gus? Pete, I posted a YouTube short. I'll make sure to watch it. Alright. Gus, okay. While we wait, we're going to take a look at Recon. And we're going to take a look at some satellite here. So we're going to take a look at Recon. They might actually go back in. I don't know. Is there going to be another Recon going into this thing? Nope. They finished. I don't know. I could look at this satellite all day. See that very explosive thunderstorm activity around the low pressure. It's well-defined core. Cold core. Or I should say warm, but in the higher levels it's cold. Is it me, or is it kind of turning east, or turning west, excuse me. It's like wobbling. kind of turned west a bit. Interesting. Just might be the shear. Yeah, it's the shear. Plus some dry air. Yeah, I see that. Look at that dry air out here impeding on its southwest convection. Or southeast. Southwest, yeah, I was right. Southwest. Take a look at something else, too. True color. Actually, true color might actually. Water vapor. Yeah, you can see the dry air down there. True color. Oh. Man, which one is it? I cannot find it. But you know what, let's take a look at some hurricane models actually right now. H-Wharf, we're gonna start off with the H-Wharf. And we're gonna take a look at whoopsie. Interesting. Yeah, the H-Wharf seems like a pretty good scenario. But it's not far out enough to actually make that churn, so can't really say much about the H-Wharf. HAFSA. See what that shows. Okay, do want to take a look at 12Z. Wow. 9:30. I want to zoom out if I can. I can't. Okay. Fair enough. But wow, 9:30 just off the Turks and Caicos Islands there. HAFSB. That one has been pretty accurate last year. Okay, at 983. Sheesh. Where's the islands at? Okay, there's the islands. I'm assuming that's Turks and Caicos and the Bahama Islands. So yeah, it's 941. 935. 933. Okay, I want to take a look at satellite. Wow. That reminds me of Hurricane Charlie. Oh my goodness. Look at that eye. We got two eye walls. Look at that. One eye wall here. It's basically we got two eye walls. Inner eye wall, outer eye wall. Wow. That's insane. That's insane, chat. It's basically we got two eyeballs. Inner eye wall, outer eye wall. Wow. That's insane. But anyways. See if Recon's doing another fly through. But yeah, you could see we did have some flight level winds near 71 knots, which is basically 70 miles per hour at the surface. Also, I think I might need to move my microphone just a tad. There you go. Alright. But that's not the only system we're watching here. We're watching another disturbance has been designated from the National Hurricane Center. Southwestern Gulf, NFS 98L. Shower and thunderstorm activity has increased in association with an area of low pressure located over the Bay of Campeche. The low is forecast to move west-northwestward across southwestern Gulf during the next day or so, where environmental conditions are marginally conducive for further development. A tropical storm could form before the system moves inland over northeastern Mexico or southern Texas by late Friday, ending its chances for tropical development. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall is possible along portions of northeast Mexico and southern Texas over the next few days. An Air Force Reserve hurricane hunter is en route to investigate this system. Interesting. Talk about Erin. We're going to talk about some Erins, guys. Erin. Heavy rainfall across portions of northernmost Leeward Islands, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, as well as southern and eastern Puerto Rico, may lead to isolated flash and urban flooding along with landslides or mudslides this weekend into early next week. Tropical storm conditions are possible for portions of the northern Leeward Islands, where tropical storm watches are in effect beginning on Saturday as the core of Erin passes north of those islands. Tropical storm conditions could also occur in portions of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico later in the weekend, and additional watches may be required tonight or on Friday. While there is still uncertainty what impacts might occur in portions of the Bahamas, the east coast of the United States, and Bermuda next week, the risk of dangerous surf and rip currents across the western Atlantic basin next week is increasing. So let's take a look at Tropical Storm Erin rainfall forecast map, if it'll even let me click on it. No, I just gotta click on it up here. Alright. Tropical Storm Erin rainfall forecast. So basically, they're in Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands. You can see isolated rain totals up to 6 inches where they have those areas located. But mainly just 2 to 4 inches of rain with isolated areas up to 6 inches could be possible. And then for these northern Leeward Islands down here, isolated rain totals up to 4 inches are possible as well. So isolated flash flooding is possible out here. Landslides, as mentioned in their discussion. Let's take a look at the wind speed probabilities, tropical storm force. So as you can see, I want to zoom in here. As we zoom in, Puerto Rico is in that 20 to 30% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. I mean, it's possible. And then the northern Leeward Islands, they were just upgraded. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds are possible. We're just going to iron out some uncertainties as we get closer. But tropical storm force winds are, I'd say, they're increasing for the northern Leeward Islands and maybe Puerto Rico, dependent on where the system tracks, but some uncertainties as we get closer. Also, I want to cancel the noise reduction. Hold on. But tropical storm force winds are, I'd say, they're increasing for the northern. Hold on, let me put some in chat. Alright, good. Alright. You know, chat, I think I might just do this. Alright. Can y'all hear me well? I think we are good. Yeah, GFS is a little insane when it comes to its second system that brings it in here. Wow, 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 wow. That's insane. Literally. Like, I know this is Fantasyland, but come on. Right over my house. Okay. Literally right over my house. I'm just gonna zoom in all the way here. That is right over my house. Wow. Like, literally, that's over my house. Insane. That's insane stuff there from the GFS. But that is 300 plus hours out, so I wouldn't take that into consideration because that is very far out. That's Fantasyland, and I would highly doubt that happening. But we gotta watch more development behind this system, or behind Erin rather. But we're gonna take one system at a time. So it's pointless just talking about another system showing a very impactful system here. Literally 300 plus hours out. Like, dude. You're just asking for attention if you're showing this. Like, actually thinking that this will happen. This will probably not happen, however. There has been some model guidance that has been showing some increasing development behind Erin, which could lead the way for more waves to come off the coast of Africa and pose a threat to the fish, it seems. But, yeah, you could see that too. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, more systems try to develop behind Erin too. Interesting. But I wouldn't take the second system seriously. Like I said, it's 300 hours out, and it's the GFS Fantasyland, so we've seen what the GFS can do 300 plus hours out. So let's check up on chat here. Let's see. Okay, good. Kevin had to point that out to me. I know you were gonna say something like that, but you're just asking for attention if you didn't know I was showing this and bro is showing it. I'm showing you guys what the GFS says, rather. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but there has been some model guidance that has been depicting a more tropical development behind Erin that could we could watch. But in the meantime, one system we need to keep an eye on one system, or one system at a time per se. But we'll see if the National Hurricane Center puts out anything for that. I do want to take a look at the ensembles and see if there's any support with that end of things. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it. No, not that. I have to go to the GEFS ensembles because Tropical Tidbits doesn't have that. But okay, now I have to go down here and change it to the ensemble members. There we go. All right. See if the GEFS shows that. Okay, still shows that, but yeah, look at that. Just churns straight north after that high pressure kind of moves away, and it guides its way towards that trough, which is going to slingshot this thing very far to the north. So, my current thinking here on Erin is that it's going to basically churn. It's probably not going to make any landfall impacts if we're being real per se, but I'm not really. I mean, I like forecasting hurricanes. It's just that forecasting severe weather is a lot more fun. It's a lot more entertaining, maybe. More, it grabs my attention a lot. I like looking at different, when troughs come in during the spring, like looking at different ingredients for severe weather, like all that kind of stuff, and as well as nowcasting too. Not just forecasting, nowcasting is really fun to me too as well. So, but if you guys have any questions to chat, let me know. We went over the ensembles on the European and the GFS model. So, main takeaway from the models is that there's still some uncertainty, especially the icon, man. Icon is bonkers, literally. Like, I wouldn't even worry about the icon at this point, but it is a model run, so. But the point is that I don't think the scenario that the icon is showing is going to play out. At 922 millibar pressure, literally off the coast of the Bahamas, like, literally, I feel like that's too far west. I feel like that's too far west, but I see what the icon's doing here. I see what the icon's doing, but I just don't see that scenario playing out. Which why it makes the icon model such an outlier. But man, that's crazy. I mean, the icon has been consistent with this, but I'm still not in terms with the icon at this point. I'm curious. What does this model show? Okay, nothing yet. So let's go to 12Z. The nav gem model. Actually, that might be the most furthest east model. Holy crap. You know that? Wow. Okay. Very easy to make out where your high pressure is over here, which is going to steer its thing around the high pressure, why it's going to turn north due to its steering currents. And you can see this trough just going to slingshot this thing up northward and maybe impact Atlantic Canada as a 940. Am I reading that right? Let me zoom in. I really need to see this. Let's see. Which sector is it? I cannot. Maybe northeastern U.S.? Nope. Nope. I don't know, but I think that's a 930. Seeing that right? That actually might be a 930. But I don't think that's going to make landfall. I think that's going to stay off the coast, but whatever. That's the nav gem being a nav gem for you. Let's see. What's up, Sydney? Yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions in chat, please put them down. In terms of severe weather, shoot. I haven't been looking at models for severe weather in the past few days. So, it's interesting to see. Yeah, we got a tornado warning up here. Interesting, per se. If I can actually zoom into the tornado warning, which is probably going to expire here. The tornado warning has been... it's going to expire in 4 minutes, okay? But they did extend this as far possible. So this thing must be a line spout spitter or something. Because this thing does... well, there is actually some pretty good rotation. So, whenever we're allowed a tornado threat with that as it moves south towards Marshall, and communities of Marshall, Lind, Russell, and Ghent. But, back to tropics here. Hold on, I want to take a look at that, the Gulf of Mexico, because I kind of lost track on that. We're going to go southeast, supposedly. Actually, no, we could actually go this way. We could go to current storms. Yeah, Erin looking pretty healthy at this moment, but I'm going to go over these in a moment, but I do want to take a look at Invest 98L. Yeah, probably a lot of dry air out here, or wind shear actually. Yeah, there's wind shear out here, no doubt. There is pretty good wind shear out here. You want to know how? Look at that shockwave. Look at that. Well, I don't think that's a shockwave, but you could definitely tell there's wind shear out here. This thing is getting shredded, it seems. I don't think this thing is going to produce a tropical storm, actually. What about dry air? I don't think I can take a look at that, but it doesn't look really too impressive, but it does. There might be some upper level spin, mid-level spin. I don't think there's a low level spin with this. You can actually see there is some spin with this, and there's convection firing around that low. You can kind of see that right here, right there, where that convection is bubbling up there. Yeah, I think that is where your low pressure is. Yeah, that is where your low pressure is. Interesting. There's probably some dry air out here as well. So this thing's gonna struggle, and that's probably why it's not. I mean, it is an Invest. It's Invest 98L, but I don't think it's gonna do anything really. But let's see. Yeah, they're gonna let that expire. Okay, or they're just gonna cancel it. Okay. Now let's take a look at. Let's see. Go back to current storms. Go to global hurricane models. This is 18Z. This is which is this? Oh, this is model guidance. Okay, so this thing, some models do indicate it being further south here, such as the icon. But a lot of these models just churn it, out towards the middle of the Atlantic, which would decrease impacts. But at the same time, we can't ignore the fact that we're going to have some pretty high surf along the East Coast, because this thing is going to be very powerful. This is probably going to be a very major hurricane out in the middle of the Atlantic, and that's going to create some very high wave heights. Now, do keep in mind, wave heights are not necessarily storm surge. It's basically, the wave height per se. We could see wave heights out here actually. If I don't know. You know what? Hold on. Let's go back to the I think the GFS said that, right? Yeah, I think they do. Okay, good. No, I think we have to go to. I don't think they have that, do they? What about the European? Does the European have that? I think I have to go to ensembles, maybe? No? I don't know. Actually, no, I don't know. But, guys, I gotta meet up for a second. I don't need to open Discord, but I will be right. Hold on, guys. I will be right back. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta. I'm gonna be eating dinner in a little bit, so I'm gonna check on that real quick. But I'm gonna actually put a text up on screen so nobody gets confused. What? I'm like. What do you eat tonight? Okay, hold on. Before I actually let you guys go, I'm gonna eat dinner pretty quick here, so I'm gonna let you guys take a look at. I'm gonna take a look at some. Hold on, I'm gonna meet up real quick. Hold on. Hold on, I'm coming. Yes, ma'am. Alright. I think we are back. We are back. Alright. My absence has been known, so, but let's take a look at, I think we did get a new National Hurricane Center update here, and yeah, wow. This thing is looking like a hurricane. It's grown in size too. Yeah, look at that. Alright. We're gonna take a look at tropical, we're at National Hurricane Center first. See if they did an update, which they should have about 10 minutes ago. And they did. Okay, they increased the AOI out here, or the invest 50-50, and then Erin is up to 70 with a pressure of 999. Wow, it actually, the pressure increased. Interesting. Alright, that's very interesting actually. Did they update the cone? Okay. I'm curious. No, they did. Okay. Interesting. Alright, let's take a look at Recon. Okay, looks like they did another fly through. Let's see what they gathered. No, that's not the right one. Alright, this is the right one, I think. 12:30. Yeah, that was like 20 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, actually. Let's see what we find. Wow. Flight level winds of 65 knots, so I don't think they were in the peak. Okay, let's check up on chat here. I didn't expect it. Didn't expect pressure increase. Yeah, they did. Increased it by 1 millibar, which I find interesting. Let's see. Do they do anything out here? Nope. Nope. Alrighty then. I don't know if they updated the wind probabilities, but no, they didn't. They did not update that. It was at 2 p.m. No aircraft data indicates that Erin is near hurricane strength, moving west at 17 miles per hour. So it's moving west, rather west northwest. So that's interesting. I find very, very interesting. It's moving west northwest. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, look at that. Trying to get an eye wall here. Yeah, this thing is trying to get its act together, it seems. Yeah, it's gotten much larger too. Note that as well. Okay, I gotta get rid of this. My bad. Alright, there we go. Alright, y'all should see it now. Clearly. But, I think that's gonna do it from you guys. I wanna thank you guys so much for tuning in. But, dinner was pretty good, actually. But, anyways, if I'll probably go live tomorrow to do another update. It'll most definitely be a hurricane by the time I do another update, which will be tomorrow. Sorry for being absent for like most of this stream. I was just eating dinner and stuff, and I just thought that, give you guys a sad light while I was, eating. But that's gonna do it for me, everybody. I'll probably see you guys in tomorrow's stream if I do one.